Jaguars fans, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back into the Fan Cave. Unfortunately, this is our third straight loss. I believe we're 19 or 18 and 0 and 18, 0 and 19, something like that. In our past X amount of games. Going back to last year, man, we are just continuing to be the speed bump of the league. On the promising side is though, we're playing better teams. We've played increasingly difficult teams. And each week we've played them increasingly better. This team is getting better. Unfortunately, we do fall to the Arizona Cardinals in week 3, second home game of the year, 31-19. And man, that one sucked. Because for a while, that game looked like we were going to win. We had a lot of momentum. We were driving. We had, James Robinson was imposing his will in the third quarter. And unfortunately, just a turn of bad events really sparked the Arizona Cardinals, lead them to victory. This one stunk. But, Trevor Lawrence, 22 of 33. This is by far his best game. Overall, you think of, really, in all reality, he should have one interception. He is, the Hollister interception was just a goof play. I'm going to get to Hollister in a bit. That's not on Trevor at all. And then you can honestly, if you really wanted a finger to point at, yes, Trevor threw the ball for his second interception. Yes, he probably should have thrown it away. But let's be honest, if Andrew Norwell doesn't practice his pirouettes in the middle of that play and actually tries to block J.J. Watt, that play is a touchdown. He sees DJ Chark streaking down the field through the middle of the field, no one on him, 5-10 yards. DJ Chark, touchdown. Frank Frangi's making the call. Gus Johnson, DJ Chark, oh my gosh, touchdown. We're right back in that game. Unfortunately, it goes for a pick 6, and, the rest is history after that, honestly. But those two, if you wanted fingers to point at outside of Trevor Lawrence, there would be very two obvious fingers to point. Hollister dropping the ball looking like he's got thumbs for hands. He's literally trying to catch balls. It's just a mess. And then we've also got Andrew Norwell, like I said, practicing to be a ballerina post-football. Those two, if they do what they're supposed to do at the bare minimum of their job description, those two plays are successful and they work. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen that way. This is the NFL. You get punished for your mistakes. Both of those massive mistakes led to interceptions. This could have been Trevor's first game without an interception. Unfortunately, boneheaded mistakes lead to 2 interceptions. Trevor ends up finishing 22 of 34 for 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions and a 68.1 QBR. Life goes on, But the massive bright side on the offensive side of the field, James Robinson is finally getting the touches we've been saying he deserves. I would even like to see him get more. Trevor threw the ball 34 times. James Robinson ran the ball 15 times. Let's get that below 30 for Trevor. Let's get it to 20 for James. Let's get it to 20. He rushed for almost 6 yards a carry, 5.9 yards a carry. Granted, most of that came on the third quarter drive, but at the end of the day, those yards count. They count. They do. And so Trevor played increasingly well with an active running game. That the flea flicker, that's good play call, bad positioning on the field, in my opinion. That's I didn't like the positioning. Do that at the 50, do that at the opponent's 40. But I digress. I'm off of that play. It's going to eat at me, but it is what it is. And this is proof that when you have minimal offensive mistakes, because, think back to week 1, you had the multiple lining up illegal formation penalties. You had false starts and things like that. We didn't see a lot of that this game. We had some offensive line penalties. We did. This isn't the best offensive line in the league. It's going to happen. You're going to see offensive line penalties. We didn't get a bunch of holdings. We didn't get a bunch of false starts. We didn't get those demoralizing penalties like we saw in week 1 and then even trickled into week 2. We didn't see those. And we also saw that when you give James Robinson the ball multiple times throughout a game, good things happen. James Robinson put the team on his back whenever it was 13 to, 10, I want to say it was. 13-7, somewhere in that range. And they showed that when you put the ball in James Robinson's belly and you say, go just run forward, find holes, He literally carried us for an entire drive. That was James Robinson's revenge tour. It was. James Robinson said, "This is what I do. This is what I do best. Give me the ball. Watch what I do." And it showed. We've yet to see a 100-yard game from James Robinson. If he would have gotten 5 more carries, we're talking about a 120-yard game from James Robinson. I believe he eclipsed 100 yards all-purpose, but on the ground, only 88. I'm not upset with that at all. If they continue to feed James Robinson, this opposing defenses will have trouble deciding who they want to stop. Because I guarantee you by the bye, Trevor's going to figure out, Bevel's going to figure out, Meyer's going to figure out the yin and the yang with feeding James Robinson and then also letting Trevor take the deep shots. This is going to be a great offense. I'm excited for it. If we have one key piece, I'm ecstatic. That key piece is a tight end. We don't have a tight end. James O'Shaughnessy is a very serviceable tight end. He is. He's also the one in keeping the entire medical staff employed because he can't stay healthy. James O'Shaughnessy can't stay healthy. I've heard he's a great dude. I've heard he's an awesome guy to hang out with. That's awesome. But you know what he's doing a whole lot of? He's hanging out because he's not playing football during September to February because he can't stay healthy. And he's the best one we've got. He's practically the only one we have. Yes, Chris Manhurts had the touchdown in week 1. They can try to convert him into a pass-catching tight end. He's not. He's a blocker, and that's what they brought him in to be. We have a bunch of blockers and a bunch of mediocre tight ends. We have great value Walmart brand tight ends, or tackles, I should say, because that's all they are. They're just blockers. We saw that, Hollister was brought in. We hope to see him become a pass-catching tight end. He didn't. He fumbled. I believe he had 2 catches and a fumble today. I'm over him already. You fumble the ball on a ball that was placed right where you could catch it. You're going to get hit over the middle. Suck it up. I've never made those plays running through the middle, but I've also never been paid millions of dollars to do it. So I'm going to need you to suck it up a little bit. Take the hit and act like a professional athlete. You want to be the best take those hits. That's what it is. And, Luke Farrell, he's the epitome of a 5th-round pick. He's good enough to start or get playing time. His mom gets to see him play on TV. Oh, look there, baby, there's Lukey. Yeah, that's about all that's going to happen because she's never going to see him actually do anything productive. That's all that's going to happen. Luke Farrell isn't a good football player. Hollister sucks. Manhurts is a good blocker. I'll give him that. When he tries to block, he's good. This team doesn't believe in a blocking tight end, apparently. They just have him running routes the entire time. So, and then up until the 4th quarter, the offensive line played incredibly well. They showed why they opened holes for James Robinson to rush for 1,000 yards in the 3rd quarter. He was running all over the place. Trevor only had 1 sack with a defensive front 7 that was expected to wreak havoc on this front 5 and for the Jaguars. You think back to last week. What did Chandler Jones have? 4 sacks in that game against the Titans. I believe Chandler Jones had 1 sack this game. And I would absolutely take the Tennessee Titans offensive line. I think they have a better offensive line than we do, and that front 7 ate the Titans alive. So 3 sacks throughout the game, I'll take it. It's it wasn't the front 7 that beat them. It was the Jaguars front 5 that beat the Jaguars front 5. If Andrew Norwell doesn't practice his pirouettes, massive things are different in that game. Andrew Norwell had a terrible game, in my opinion. Ultimately, he came here on a massive free agent contract and just didn't get anything done outside of that. The most work he's done in Jacksonville, I feel like, is signed his contract to say I'm going to be a huge free agent guard. That's all he's done. But I digress. He's gonna rest his cleats at the end of the day on the fact that he was an all-pro guard in Carolina, and he's going to say, yeah, I went to Jacksonville, made a bunch of money, lived on the beach for 5 years, and then I retired, and now I still live on the beach, and I'm a millionaire. Life is great, isn't it? And that's what this entire offensive line is going to do. Brandon Linder's good when he's healthy, but we're already seeing him pop up on injury reports. It's a matter of time, unfortunately. I think Brandon Linder is one of the best centers in the league, but when he's not healthy, he's not healthy, and he's already popping up on injury reports. So it's going to be a matter of time before we see Tyler Shatley playing center for a minimal period of time throughout the middle of the year while Linder gets healthy again. And not to keep it negative, the Josh Allen streak is over. You know, he got the one sack in Houston. He got the sack at the home opener in the bank against the Broncos. Unfortunately, Josh Allen did not get home against Kyler Murray this week against the Cardinals. The streak is over, unfortunately. It's over. It was a fun ride, you know, thinking about how we could have a 17-sack defensive end. But overall, he played well. He was getting after the quarterback. Just Kyler Murray, the second he feels any sense of pressure, he's out of there. He is so far gone. It is just, phew, you know, the second he felt any semblance of pressure, bye. So, and who would have thought, you know, if I told you this front seven was going to have a sack, who would you have said? Now, all of you are liars if you said Taven Bryan. If anyone said Taven Bryan was going to get a sack this game, you are a liar. You are, what? You know, if you had first sack of the game money on Taven Bryan, you're a millionaire. You're richer than Andrew Norwell, who's going to be hanging out on the beach at the end of the season. You know, that's just, whew. Taven Bryan, he's getting better. I don't know what's going on in this scheme with Joe Cullen and Urban Meyer. Whatever they're doing, it's working. Keep going. You know, week 1 in Houston, he had a couple. I think he had a QB hit, a couple tackles for loss. He had 4 or 5 tackles. Week 2, it didn't do a whole lot. Week 3, the man gets a sack. What? This is absurd. I'm more than happy that Taven Bryan is developing. I just wish it wouldn't happen after we've already declined his 5th-year option because he's been nothing but a bust for us. You know, I want to know what the heck Joe Cullen and Urban Meyer have done that have decided to make Taven Bryan a serviceable player. Ultimately, he's getting better. Taven watch week 3. He's getting better. This might turn into a recurring thing where Taven watch. What is happening with Taven Bryan? Because he is continuing to develop. He has a sack. He had a couple quarterback hits week 1. Taven Bryan, everyone. This is who we drafted in 2018. Welcome to the 2021 season. He's finally doing something. You know, and then to top it off, the secondary that was without C.J. Henderson, I believe, they played incredibly well. You know, if I told you throughout DeAndre Hopkins' history playing the Jaguars that he went for 3 for 21 and no scores, you would think that was a stat line from when Jalen Ramsey was covering him. No, that was today. That was week 3 of the NFL season. DeAndre Hopkins only had 3 catches. Unfortunately, I have DeAndre Hopkins on my fantasy team, so that sucks for me. You know, he only got me 5 points. But the secondary did something that I didn't think they were going to do at all, and they stopped the pass. This was just a weird game where they had a pick 6, and they got, you know, whenever they were backed up deep, they didn't get anything going. But there was just a couple drives. You know, Kyler had the running touchdown. I believe they had 1 or 2. I believe James Conner had 2 rushing touchdowns. They had the pick 6. And then I want to say a field goal. It was a weird game for the Cardinals, the way they actually got it done. You know, everyone expected Edmonds to really tote the rock for them. James Conner ends up getting the 2 scores. Kyler Murray gets the rushing touchdown. I don't believe he had a passing touchdown today. No, he didn't. Yeah, that's the way the math works out. And then obviously the Trevor pick 6 and the field goal making the 31. What a weird game for the Cardinals. But they stopped him, you know. And then also, the Jaguars are going to have 1 turnover this game. Who is it? You're either a millionaire because you can guess Taven Bryan and Andrew Wingard, or once again, you're still lying from the Taven Bryan question. Either one, I digress. Taven Bryan and Andrew Wingard are 2 people I wanted to blast into the sun after week 1, after week 2, you know, put them on a spaceship, put them on one of Elon Musk, Richard Branson's, you know, rocket ships, send them off into the moon. Bye. Never play in Jacksonville again. Put Josh Lambo on there as well. And so that was something that I was just, you know, I was shocked by. It was a great play. He played the ball incredibly well. He watched it the entire time, never even thought about the defender, played the ball. I loved it. You know, floated over from the safety position, landed right in his lap, and then also got a serviceable return out of it as well. So I can't really knock him on that. And, man, what a weird game. Because what have we all said from the get-go? Tyson Campbell is a bad draft pick. Tyson Campbell played very, very well in the first quarter and bled into the second quarter as well. He played an incredible first half. He ultimately, he let up some bad plays to AJ Green. That kind of helped the Cardinals seal the game away for them. But in the first quarter, Tyson Campbell was a wrecking machine. He had a couple pass breakups. I believe it was the Cardinals' first or second drive. Tyson Campbell broke up a pass. It causes a fourth down, ends with a punt, and allows the Jaguars to get a drive going. So Tyson Campbell, maybe I have to put him in. Maybe it's a Tyson and Taven watch, because we also need to watch Tyson Campbell develop. I'll be more than happy if they do. If Joe Cullen can get something out of this defense and the players we thought weren't good, more power to him. But Darrell Bevell needs to fix some things. The play calling was still a little off. I'm not going to dig him for the flea flicker. It was a good play. You ran the ball down their throat. I don't think Trevor threw it at all on the drive that James Robinson scored on. So I'm not going to dig him on that. It was a good play call. It was just terribly performed, because the safety bit hard on the fake handoff. DJ Chark a mile down the field. Trevor could have thrown it up into the atmosphere, hit Elon Musk's satellites, dropped it back down, and DJ probably would have still scored. He was so wide open. So the coordinators are doing well, in my opinion. Bevell has seemed to improve. I don't know if he's watching my videos or not, but hey, Bevell, if you're watching, shout me out, man. Hey, put a word in for the PR department. I'd love to come work for you. But they're not bad. Urban, he's taking this like extreme ownership of, I will get these coordinators right, I will get this coaching staff right, I will get the players right. And in 3 weeks, this team has gotten better. If you looked at week 1 and you watched today, you would not think they're the same team. What did Trevor have? 3 interceptions that were terrible passes on him? Yes. You could say that one bad decision today cost him a pick 6. If he has good coverage, that pick 6 doesn't happen. So I'm overall happy with the way the offense and the defense played today. It's just, there's small things that just led to back-breaking moments of the game and momentum-sucking moments of the game. And speaking of momentum sucking, what a play at the end of the first half. Jamal freaking Agnew. The longest play you can have in the NFL is 109 yards. Jamal Agnew is now one of the proud owners of one of those plays. End of the first half, I believe they went to kick a 64-yard field goal, I believe. They trot their kicker out, and I'm thinking, okay, yeah, he's going to miss it, or he's going to just be wide. He's going to focus too much on power, miss accuracy. Well, here I am watching, drinking my ice-cold Miller Lights, kick in the air, and Agnew's hanging out there waiting. 109 yards. Gus Johnson's freaking out. I can't even hear Gus Johnson because I'm so loud. I'm over here. I'm just freaking out early in the morning watching this game. I can't hear Gus Johnson. Then I'm watching replays of the play, and I can't hear Gus Johnson because the fans in TIA Bank Field, Jacksonville, Florida, are raucous, crazy, and loud. It was an amazing play. And that, like I tweeted out earlier today, at JAGS Fan Cave on Twitter if you're not already following me, that play is going to go down in history. You think of plays like the David Garrard Hail Mary, like David Garrard, third down run, or fourth down, I want to say it was, in Pittsburgh, and the 2007 playoffs, the Josh Scobie 59-yard game winner, the Jalen Ramsey 2017 playoff interception, plays like that. So that was the fun part of what happened for the special teams this week in week 3 of the National Football League 2021 season, right? That was the fun part. Now we got to get to the bad part. Josh Lambo. Adios. Put him on a plane. I don't care. Send him somewhere. Don't send him to Cincinnati, because he definitely doesn't belong in Cincinnati. He doesn't belong in the National Football League jersey. 0-3 on field goals in 3 games. 5 of 7 for PATs. That's not acceptable. Yes, you were an all-pro kicker, I believe, in 2019. Cool. This is 2021, and you've made 0 field goals. And PATs, which should be automatic, you've only made 5 of your 7 attempts. All right, Jaguars fans, that is week 3 of this 2021 NFL season. Unfortunately, our beloved Jaguars have fallen to 0-3. This week we got the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, the AFC North is looking like a weird division right now, so they're going to be in contention to, potentially take the lead in their division and really push for the division here in the coming days. So that's going to be a huge matchup for us. I'm excited for it. It's on Thursday Night Football. We're going to get the best of the best. We're going to be on prime time. The whole nation will be watching, and we will kick off week 4 of this 2021 NFL season against the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, who ate us alive last year up in Cincinnati. Once again, we're in Cincinnati. I'm excited for this one. It'll be a fun game. Thursday Night Football, who doesn't love that? So I'm excited for it. I hope you guys are as well. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel because it helps it immensely. If you did enjoy the content, I would love for you to leave a comment down below as well. Who did you think was the best player of this game? Was it James Robinson? Was it Agnew? Did you think Lawrence had a good game? Do you think, Taven Bryan had a sack today? Maybe he's going to get a vote. I don't know. But I'd love to hear down in the comments as well because I love to interact with you guys and just talk to you guys and grow this fan cave community because that's what it's all about, growing the Jaguars community and bringing in new Jaguars fans. So, like I said, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps us grow immensely. And I'll see you very soon. Stay safe and go Jaguars.